Well, let's get right to today's top political stories. And joining us first is Larry Sabato, who on any otherwise quiet day before a holiday weekend has everyone talking about his predictions that Republicans will win very big this fall. Larry, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, Nancy.
I want to bring up our graphic of your crystal ball predictions, which is something that you do every year, and you're usually pretty dead on. So let's take a look because these numbers are pretty stunning. You project that Republicans will pick up 47 seats in the House, so they would take back the House easily. They only need 39 seats. Then you project that they will pick up 8 or 9 seats in the Senate, which would leave them just short of the 10 that they need to take control of the Senate. And then you go on to project that they will pick up 8 more governorships, which is pretty significant because this is a census year, which means next year will be a redistricting year, and the party in power in individual states has a lot more power over this process. Pretty incredible numbers.
Nancy, I'll tell you, the Democratic position has deteriorated very badly over the summer. In some cases, in private polls, the bottom has fallen out for Democrats. It's mainly due to the economy, the bad economy, and the fact that Democrats are seen as having overpromised and underdelivered. It's also due to Republican enthusiasm. It's just through the roof. And by the way, don't be shocked if the Republicans take over the Senate too. There have been 6 instances since World War II where the House flipped party control from one party to the other. In all 6 cases, the Senate flipped the very same way, and in most of those cases, no one predicted it in advance. They didn't see it coming. So this is close enough so that I think it might happen again, but we'll see.
Yes, that's right. And you even said that this is a conservative estimate when it comes to the number of House seats that the GOP will pick up. How do you come up with these numbers? Do you look at each individual race and how the candidates are faring?
We have an elaborate process that involves statistical modeling, which has proven to be very accurate in the past. You mentioned in 2006, for example, we got the number of Democratic pickups exactly right. We overestimated Democratic pickups by 5 in 2008, but we're very close to the total. We've done the very same thing again. The statistical models relate to President Obama's approval level and to what's called the generic ballot. That is, pollsters like Gallup ask voters, if the election in your district were held today, would you vote for the Democratic candidate for Congress or the Republican candidate for Congress? So there are a lot of different measures. We also go district by district, state by state, looking at how much money has been raised, whether there are scandals involving the candidates, the quality of their advertising. It was a summer-long process.
So it looks like what you're finding is that the Tea Party, even if some of its views don't completely match up with the Republican Party, is a net positive for the Republican Party at this point.
It's a net positive because of enthusiasm and because it's a midterm election. People should never forget that in a presidential race, over 60% of American adults participate. But we're in a midterm year. Only about 40% will come out to vote. That's why enthusiasm is so important. Republicans have got it. Democrats are depressed because of the economy. The Tea Party has added to enthusiasm levels, although I have to also say they have probably cost the Republicans some seats because they've forced they've managed in the primary process to nominate candidates that aren't nearly as strong as some of the mainstream candidates the leadership in Washington preferred.
Right. Now, could anything happen between now and November that would significantly change what you're predicting right now, which is a huge tidal wave for the GOP?
Absolutely. While it's unlikely, I always point to 1962, John F. Kennedy's one midterm election. Who on Labor Day imagined the Cuban Missile Crisis, the missiles of October, which occurred in mid-October? The president stood down the Soviets. He gained enormously. It helped his party, and what was going to be a Republican midterm election turned into basically a Democratic midterm election. So strange things happen, unexpected big events can happen to change things, but October surprises really don't happen all that often.
And I guess things could work the other way as well. I mean, a year ago we weren't even talking about the possibility of a GOP pickup, and then we thought, oh, maybe they'll win a few seats, and then it became, oh, maybe they could retake the House, and now today we're looking at possibly the GOP picking up the House and the Senate, so things could get even better for them between now and November as well.
You're correct, Nancy. It's very important to remember it can go in the other direction. It can go toward the Republicans. Looking at my numbers, you probably think and others think, my goodness, he isn't very cautious. He isn't very conservative. In fact, we were very conservative. We could have gone well beyond 47, but we held this to a very strict standard.
All right. Well, Larry Sabato, who is the director of the Center for Politics at the University of Virginia, thank you so much for joining us to work through these numbers with us today.
Thank you, Nancy.